ladies and gentlemen, Ken Block. And he spun it. There it is. That was actually a proper donut there. Proper hoon action.
Hey everybody, it's Charlie and Christopher here with Daily Motor. We are back with another fun comparison test. This one a little bit less conventional and maybe one that not quite as many outlets and people would have done. But hey, we figure there are a lot of people who are like, I want something from Ford that's new and cool. And these are two products from Ford that are new and cool.
Yeah.
So today we're going to spend a little bit of time kind of walking around talking about the Maverick and the full-size Bronco. Then we're going to go out on the road and sort of talk about how they drive and who might be best suited with either one of these vehicles and if you should consider buying one. Quick overview of both trucks. This is the 2022 Ford Maverick. This is actually our long-term vehicle. It's an XLT 2-liter EcoBoost with the FX4 off-road package and 4K tow package. We've put about 1,300 miles on it and it's been a lot of fun so far. We've got a ton of videos from fuel economy to sound system tests, towing videos, comparisons. We'll put the links to all those in the description. This is a 2021 Bronco 4-door Badlands trim with a, you call it a
7-speed.
A 6.5-speed manual.
6-speed with a crawler gear.
Yeah, so that's a lot of fun, and we'll talk about that more when we're out driving, but Chris is going to be running a highway fuel economy test. We've already tested the B&O audio system in the Bronco, so I'll put the link down there as well. This has been fun to drive around, and ultimately a very different sort of vehicle. Even though they're both kind of fun, they're both off-roady, they both have tow hooks, as you can see. They both serve very different sorts of owners and buyers. Let's kind of take a look around a little bit. Obviously with the Bronco, we've got huge tires, and with the Badlands trim, that's what you get with this kind of more like a Jeep Rubicon, right?
Yeah,
more all-terrain tires.
These are the base wheels and tires you get on a Badlands.
Okay.
Of course, you can get a Sasquatch package on any trim of the Bronco, which adds bigger tires and even bigger wheel arches.
But
this
not
one
with
does not have that.
not with the manual.
But you can't have it with a manual, no, unfortunately.
Chris, why don't you give us a quick rundown of the Bronco trims for anyone who's confused?
So it starts with base. That's the truck with the Steelies and no options, which is really cool. Base, Big Bend, Black Diamond, Outer Banks, Badlands, Wild Track, First Edition.
And then Raptor.
And then Raptor now. That's just been announced a couple days ago.
Yeah.
So there's 8 trim levels, which is pretty intense.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of different configurations. If you can even get your hands on a Bronco, you got to kind of choose how you want it to be spec'd. Quick side note, this is one of the coolest features that Ford cars have, and I really wish more vehicles would come equipped with it. Because it was kind of like proxy key before proxy key was even a thing.
Yeah.
And I'll kind of tell you, with our Maverick, we don't have proximity key. It's just a manual key. But I can still get out of the car, and you press these two buttons together, and it locks.
It locks.
You walk away,
Yeah.
and say I forgot something and want to come back. Maybe I already put the key back in the house, or it's in my pocket. I don't want to pull it out. I just tap in my code real quick, and it unlocks.
Yeah.
It's really a nice feature. And say you want your kids to be able to run back to the car when you're at the beach or something, and you don't want to give them the key, they can just run in, tap the code.
It's great.
Get
Yeah.
their things, and lock it. I'm so surprised. No other manufacturers have ever done that.
It's straight. Yeah. Now that you mention that, I've never thought of it that way, but this has been around for so long.
Yeah,
I have
decades.
a buddy with an 80. Oh, if he watches this, I'm sorry. It's an 88 T-Bird,
Okay.
I think, and it's got a keypad on it.
Yeah, I don't know if Ford had a patent at one point, but none of the other brands have ever included keypads, and I've always appreciated it. My very first car, Ford Taurus, had that, and it was nice to have.
I see these in junkyards all the time on like the 90s Lincolns and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like crazy to think that in the late 80s, early 90s, you still had that feature.
Yeah.
We're kind of getting distracted.
Well, that's the point, is to talk about kind of what cool things you have on both of these vehicles. Because, I mean, some people might be cross-shopping these from just an interest standpoint, but a lot of the specs and the details you can find on your own. But we're kind of here to talk about maybe things you might not see or notice. Like, one thing I kind of notice is as we open this up, first of all, you really have to push.
Well, it stops. It does that on purpose because it stops it from swinging open.
Which is, that is
smashing into the Maverick that's also into your garage.
Exactly. It opens very, very wide.
It does. Yeah.
And there's a little bit of liftover angle here that if you were getting something in, you'd have to kind of clear this. And you can see here in Michigan, things are horribly salty.
They should sell an accessory that's like a little pad that goes right here that you could sleep
so
in
the
it.
Topher could camp in his Bronco. He said he wants to get one of these in a few years.
A few years?
Yeah.
Or like a few days?
A few years.
Okay.
He's going to get a Model 3 Performance first.
Oh.
Yeah. He said he's narrowed it down. I'm proud of him. Yeah.
Shall we test now that you have a light? Should we see if stuff falls down from this?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I saw a wave of dust coming toward your face.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Let me breathe it in so I can be permanently part Bronco.
Here you see it.
I still can't see what you're talking about, but maybe we'll see it in the video.
Yeah, a lot of dust. Other than that, not too much going on back here actually. There is a 12 volt, but it's fairly functional. I think there's more room in here.
There's a bucking Bronco on the
yes.
light.
That is good.
Yeah.
What would you do without that?
What?
I said, what would you do without that?
Oh,
and exposed
many
wiring.
things.
That's good.
Also, come over here. Inside the fuel filler door, you've got classic Broncos.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
What does that say? U15, U14, U13.
Those are just the body styles because you
Sure.
had the hardtop, the truck, and then the
Old. Yeah. Okay.
convertible thing. Or those are just different configurations of the roof. I don't
Right.
know, I'm not an expert, but 1966.
Ah.
There you go, established.
Neat. Yeah, I like the looks of the Bronco. I like the tail lights. In fact, you want to go hit the DRLs? We'll pop these on. You have nice exposed tow hooks too. I like the location of where they put those so you can recover things.
Are they on yet?
No. There we go. Yeah. Other than that, it's a little bit more roomy than a Jeep. Like a little bit more cargo space, and I like the color matched elements in there.
It's a lot roomier than a Jeep. Just sitting up front, you're
not elbow to elbow with another
exactly.
adult.
Yeah.
Yep. Right. Close that. Ugh. And then the Maverick, you've got this tiny bed, which is really nice because just normal sized adults can lean in here and sort of set things inside or chat or drink beers, which is what you're supposed to do in the back of pickup trucks. Not a huge bed. You have to utilize the tailgate kind of bed extender if you want to put larger things in here. It's about 4.5 feet. But if you need to do more dirty type stuff, you might pick this over the Bronco.
Mm-hmm.
We do have some tie down hooks. As you can see, we've got our kind of bungee cord that just lives in here in case we need to tie something down right away. Some little cargo spaces side.
What kind of cargo do you put in there?
Gloves, and like at one point I was towing and I put like a trailer light adapter in there. You could tie apart little straps and put it in there.
So you do find it useful?
I do find it useful to have it, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep. No sort of underfloor storage or anything like that. We do need to get a bed liner on here.
You have no Easter eggs in your...
No, in fact, that kind of leads on. This truck is very devoid of Easter eggs. It's like the opposite of the Bronco.
It's because it's the first of its kind. Not the first Ford to use the Maverick name, but the first.
Yeah, I'm glad they called it Maverick and not El Camino.
Oh, God.
Or no, that was a Chevy.
You mean Ranchero.
Your Ranchero, yeah. You can see how exposed your tow hitch is with the 4K tow package, so it's very easy to get into, and your chains aren't going to rub around anything. Also, I appreciate that there's both a 7-pin and a 4-pin connector for the trailer. The Bronco has that as well, both a 4 and a 7. That's pretty nifty. Does the Bronco have a trailer brake controller? Let me see. It does not, unless it's built into the infotainment, which is possible. Bronco does, or the Maverick does. This one is powered by a 2.3 liter turbocharged inline 4, making 300 horsepower. How much torque?
Some torque.
Some torque, not enough torque. This is a 2 liter turbocharged inline 4, making 250 horse and 277 pound-feet of torque. In fact, the torque figures might be kind of similar. We're going to find out here in a moment.
315.
Oh, that's how much torque
of
it's making. Okay. All right, so you got...
At 3,400 RPM.
In fact, very similar to the Santa Cruz.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Santa Cruz was 311, I believe. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting that the torque figure is that high up, too. You got to get off 3,400.
3,000 RPM. Yeah, you'd think with something with a crawler gear, you'd get a little more. But.
Well, and turbocharged engines often make their torque really low.
Yeah,
but
true.
that's kind of high. And it'll be interesting to see what you think driving this around with the manual transmission, because I'll point it out now, and I'll also point it out when we're driving. It doesn't have an analog tachometer, which is a bit frustrating when you're driving a manual vehicle. So if you come on in here, you see. Get through all this. That's your tachometer right there. And that's not
yeah.
a very intuitive way to see what your revs are. But it's strange because there's a speedometer here and a speedometer here. So why not make that the tachometer so that you could see the needle going and you know when to shift?
That's true.
It's not bad because it's a very nice manual to drive, so you don't feel like you're hunting for the right revs. But typically, in a manual car, you want an analog tach to just see.
Right.
Yeah, it's a very small tachometer. Kind of a strange move.
I'll have to see if that bothers me when we go for a drive.
Yeah. Well, as we'll get to more kind of near the end of the test and as we're driving, this is a vehicle that exists solely to give you worldly pleasure, if you will. It's very silly and often impractical. Most buyers will not use this truck for anything of what it's capable of. It's remarkably capable off-road. You've got everything from the detachable sway bar to the locking diffs and everything. You can do so much with this car. And I think most people aren't going to buy it for that. I think they're just going to buy it
to flex,
to look cool, to go to Starbucks and be lifted up and to feel neat.
Oh, we'll have to run the Starbucks test this week to see how well it goes through the drive-through.
Yeah, yep.
I'll be the brave one that takes care of that mission for us.
Thank you. You're so kind. And the Maverick's kind of the opposite. It costs half as much as this, and it doesn't look very cool. It doesn't look tough. Yeah, but it gives you what you need. It gives you the ability, if you just need it, especially if you got the hybrid one, just needed a runabout car that you could throw things into the back of doing yard work or landscaping or trash or anything. It kind of provides that basic functionality both inside and out without the added cost and the showiness and the flashiness of not only just a Bronco, but even like an F-150. There are plenty of people who drive F-150s that don't need the capabilities of an F-150. Mm-hmm. Well, what do you say? Should we hit the road?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. I will say, I do appreciate the sidewall. We've got 2 vehicles with sidewalls today.
Yeah.
Nice thickies. So this is actually Chris's first time driving the manual Bronco, so he's going to have some fun with that.
I've driven every configuration of a Bronco otherwise, but I have never driven a manual Bronco, so this is a new experience for me. Under first impressions, the shifter feels like a Focus ST.
Yeah, and I was actually pleasantly surprised with how it feels overall. A lot of times you get in an SUV or some vehicle like that, and you're like, this is not an enjoyable experience. But that shifter is quite good. The problems I did have with the whole manual setup are one, that motor's not particularly torquey, especially down low, so you find yourself having to kind of wring it out. And 2, there's no good tachometer, so you really have to pay attention to where your revs are, and since the engine's pretty refined, you don't really hear it too much either. So I only stalled it once though, and that was at I was trying to take off in 2nd gear, and I probably should have went to 1st.
Does it have rev matching?
I don't think so.
That's okay. Can do it the manly way.
I'm just reminded now how, after driving that Bronco for a while, now I'm getting back to the Maverick, and this is just so easy to drive. The steering weight, the tightness of everything, and obviously the automatic transmission. I'm just like, oh.
Right.
Nice.
Yes, but I'm having fun in this, and I haven't even gotten out of 2nd gear yet. We're at 18 miles per hour. I love the feel of this clutch and shifter. It's so easy. This would be a really good car for someone that's never driven manual to get in and learn. It would be very, very good for that.
I agree.
Oh, it also has an anti-stall when I take my foot off the clutch. Oh God, I gotta hustle.
The car does always default into 2-wheel drive.
Oh yeah, it was able to hustle out of there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not slow.
Definitely had to rev her out a little bit though.
The coolest thing about the Maverick is just how honest, and we'll try to not say honest so many times throughout this review, but just straightforward it is to drive. It's just in this XLT form. We paid $29,000 for this with the 4K tow and the FX4 and everything, but anyone who's getting in it and driving it, it's so simple. You just reach down, you turn the knob, and you drive away. And the gauges are straightforward, the infotainment's straightforward, or I should say the lack of infotainment. It shifts well, and you just drive. It's a very pure driving experience.
Yeah, I do feel a little bit pretentious driving this. I will be honest. I'm sitting up very high. shifting my own
Those big
gears.
things on the right front, right left of your hood, kind of like just they're almost like as if you were a dictator and you had like flags on the front of your car.
Yeah, I like those. They work for me. This thing sounds cool.
Yeah, it does. That's a great motor.
Tell me how much of a douchebag I look like. Hold on.
It looks cool. I will say, I do like the two-door version better from the looks perspective because the proportions look a little weird in the four-door. But it looks a little bit like an Explorer. But overall, it's a really cool-looking truck.
Yeah, I have no complaints with any of the styling with this new Bronco. I think they've absolutely nailed it exactly, and they've given it the retro vibe, the retro taste, without overdoing it. I think it's just the right amount of retro. Ooh, and I'm gonna be clenched around here because I'm in a lifted SUV. Oh, heave! Oh, and there's a big semi. We'll just let him. We'll let him do his thing real quick. Okay.
The gear throws in that are a really good length, and it's pretty positive for when you get into each gear too. I never found myself being like, what gear am I in?
This is a nice, satisfying manual transmission. Like, it's really, really nice to drive. There's got to be some sort of exhaust noise coming through the speakers in here. There has to be.
Oh, yeah, you're right. There might be.
It sounds a lot different than any other 423.
Interestingly, I found myself never messing around with the drive modes in that car. I did turn stability control off and slide it a bit, but I never felt like I needed to change the drive mode.
Definitely a little bit of turbo lag down low, but that makes sense with the torque curve being at 3,400 RPM. I couldn't even hear you take off, even from your phone.
This engine is so smooth and just so just inoffensive.
Are we going through the off-road section? I want to try the crawler gear.
Yeah, we sure are.
I can see why people like cars like this. Because, you know, when you're driving a Mini Cooper and you see one of these coming the other way, there's like a slight moment where you tense up and you're like, if that hit me right now, I'd be killed. But when you're driving this and you see another one coming the other way, it's not as intimidating. And also you feel like you can just run things over and nothing would happen. Like I could just drive over in that field right now and like run things over and all would be well.
Because the whole car is a little bit larger than a Wrangler, it does feel like you can do more. Like you're more intimidating than you are in a Wrangler. You don't really get that feeling in a Wrangler.
It is quite a bit more muscular than a Wrangler. That is for sure.
It is kind of similar to that FJ Cruiser right there. It's a similar vibe.
Oh yeah, why doesn't Toyota bring that back? That would be fantastic in today's market. Everybody would buy that. I don't know why they don't do it.
I know. I think they should bring it back as an EV.
Well, there were talks of that, but it's like a mini form, like a Bronco Sport.
This 2-liter turbo doesn't really have any turbo lag. It's because it's so small, it just kind of gets up and goes.
Yeah. This is my top speed around here for sure. Oh, there's an old school Explorer over there getting towed.
Yeah, I saw that. It's last trip.
Here we go. 60, 65, 70. I would say adequate power here in this 2.3 Bronco.
I'm surprised I can hear you over the wind noise in there.
Yeah, it's very loud in here. It is. I can barely hear myself.
It's funny because usually the Maverick is the loud car in the comparisons, but it actually feels pretty nice in here today.
What?
Does this have... Oh, it does. It's got lane keep assist.
Yeah, you have more of a... I think you have a smarter lane keep than I do, right? Will it actually turn for you?
I'm gonna say no, because it's not steering.
Okay.
The F-150s will actually steer for you. This does not seem to be doing that.
One thing that the Maverick does not have the ability to do in any trim is to fully disable its stability control, and it's a shame because you could really toss this thing around off-road and have some fun, but not so. Now, I've heard there is a way to pull a fuse and make that happen, but I haven't exactly figured out how to do it, and since I don't feel like getting out of the car, we're just going to live with traction only off.
We'll just have to wait till the next track day, then you can do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'm gonna Even though I don't need it right here, I am going to try out the C gear.
C for Chris.
Yeah, we'll try out Chris gear. I would assume you have to use the lockout.
Yep.
That would be C gear now. So what is it? Just like low range?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or like not technically low range. I think it's just a lower gear.
Can I go from crawl to first gear? Haha, you can. You can just treat it like a 7-speed.
There you go. So the Maverick, especially with FX4 trim, you get a little bit more advanced rear suspension, and with the FX4 package, especially in the skid plates and stuff, you can kind of bound through these sort of two-tracky situations. I mean, look at this; it's really not getting too thrown around, even over those rougher sections. But
yeah, I'm just listening to a rattle. That's all I can concentrate on right now. Oh,
it is kind of impressive that the Maverick has a more tightly put together interior than that. I mean, obviously the roofs come off of that, but still.
I put my turn signal on so you knew I was coming behind you.
You did that yesterday in the Santa Cruz too.
Did I actually? I didn't notice I did that yesterday.
Yeah, it's a good habit to have.
Yeah.
With the FX4 trim, you also get all-terrain tires, so we got plenty of grip in these type of situations.
Proper use of the turn signal here.
No, traction control has just stopped me from doing a slide. Oh, you're going full Baja over there.
Yeah, I'm having fun with this thing, man. I like our Maverick, I really do.
Something's on, but then something else is off. Traction control is off, but stability's on still.
Very, very functional interior here in the Maverick. I actually think there's probably more. In fact, yeah, there's definitely more places to put things. I mean, you see a little iPhone 13 mini goes there, and then you've got storage next here. You've got a little phone upright spot that can go there. I mean, technically, I could even put it down that way because there's a space for the cable to go, just like that. And you have the two cup holders. You have this little storage thing, that little storage spot, this one right here, and that one on top. Plenty of places. You got all these door pocket areas. You can put water bottles or other goodies. Big deep center console. Cloth seats in the XLT. No heated seats without the XLT luxury package. You do have a sunglasses holder. Extendable sun visors, although no vanity light. I found that interesting, I guess. But that's the thing is the Maverick is not about being vain. It's about just getting your shit done and continuing on with your life.
Where are you supposed to put your Oakleys in here? There's no sunglasses holder.
On your face. Even in the night.
Oh, in the night. Oh, you know what? They thought of that. That's correct. What a silly question of me to ask.
Coming on into the back seat of the Mav. Let's see here. There's actually a remarkable amount of room. We sort of realized that comparing against the Santa Cruz yesterday. Look at this. At 5'10", I've got plenty of knee room.
Still talking.
I've got headroom as well. I can hear Chris's voice coming directly into my ear because there's a speaker right here. You got two power points, USB-A and USB-C, plus this 400-watt power outlet. I'm just kind of pointing out that, like, even things like the fact this $29,000 truck has a 400-watt charger right here.
Does the Bronco have that?
I don't know. I'm not sure, but it just shows you how much they're offering you of things that you would actually use and have from a functional aspect.
It does have it.
It does?
It does.
400 watts though.
Yes.
Okay, good.
'Cause the one in the Tremor, I think, was only like 200 watt. Actually, good amount of room in here too. Can I recline the seat? No, I cannot, but still a good amount of leg room. A little bit less headroom than the Maverick, but not too bad. You do have your flip down armrest. A little skinny thing.
Soft point for your elbow on the door too.
Mm-hmm. No, this is not a penalty box back here either. I did notice earlier that you have to take you have to undo a lot of these latches to take off the roof. So if you do want to take the roof on and off quickly, I honestly think the best option is Jeep with its Sunrider top that you can just press a button and
The one that's $8,000.
It's not that much. It's a lot.
It
but
is $8,000. I'm pretty sure
is
it's
it?
$8,000.
I would pay it though, because that's so easy to just.
Yeah. Are you one of those people that would pay $70,000 for a Wrangler 4xe?
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave you back there.
Let me show you one thing that the Maverick does not do that the Bronco does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's impossible for yours to do that because it has an ignition key.
But I'm not wrong.
You're not wrong, but I'm sure the Lariats do that.
They did such a neat job with this interior. It might not be as functional as the Maverick. There aren't as many places to put things, but it does look cool. I like these little orange accents. I mean, I like the orange accents in the Maverick too, but the screen looks great. A lot of shadows in here, but once you learn where everything is, it's pretty straightforward.
Ladies and gentlemen, Ken Block.
Can't do that in the Maverick.
No. And he spun it. There it is. That was actually a proper donut there. Proper hoon action.
That's how you're supposed to drive these, right?
Your own car with pebbles.
And we're only gonna own it for a year, it's fine.
That's what I call a second owner problem.
That Bronco is so much fun.
It is. It really is. And again, I said this earlier, but $50,000 for this one is not bad. I mean, it's a lot, but it's also for everything you're getting. You're getting the 4-door, you're getting your decent features, B&O sound system, everything. It's not bad.
That might be the way to spec a Bronco. I've always been on the whole, 2.7, 10-speed automatic, probably a Black Diamond or an Outer Banks, but now after driving that, because I hadn't driven the manual previously, I think I might go with the manual. That's such a satisfying manual transmission and just overall feel.
I don't know if I would get the Badlands, because I just don't think I would utilize all the Badlands-ness of it. But,
Black Diamond.
Yeah, Black Diamond or...
Green. 2.3 manual. That would be a good spec. Because you get like the cool black Steelies with that one.
I'm having trouble hearing you. I gotta turn my volume back up. There.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, good. Yeah, I would not own a Bronco if I were going to do a lot of highway driving, just because I drove it yesterday for a while on the highway, and I never felt comfortable. I never really settled into the car. I drove the Santa Cruz part of the trip, and that car was instantly comfortable. It just felt like such a nice place to be. There's something between the way you sit and everything, but all that's to say, that's a nature of what the car is. It's not the Bronco's fault. I mean, they had to do that, so I get it. It's just,
You're also yelling.
Yeah, that too. I don't feel like going deaf from daily driving my car. But as a second car, or if you were the type of person who didn't drive a lot, this would be plenty good.
Oh.
All right, take turn.
Turning circle test.
Quite good.
Yeah, but check out the Mavericks turning circle. I'm not even going to clip the shoulder.
Nice clean Pathfinder.
Fantastic. That's not a Pathfinder, that's an Xterra.
Oh, no, that's a Pathfinder.
That was an
Xterra's
Xterra.
gone.
What?
That was a Pathfinder. I'm going back.
Charlie.
Back.
Woo, this thing does not like to corner.
No, it does not. We're taking a detour to read the badge on the back of this green Nissan.
I was full tilt right there, out of that roundabout. Back in this generation, the Pathfinder and the Xterra looked very similar. Damn it!
What is it? Haha! Yes! It's an Xterra. What's my prize?
Your prize is you get more time in the Maverick.
Oh, perfect. I'm gonna have to be in the middle of traffic now. I'm gonna have to do some Fast and Furious action to catch you.
Good thing you got 8 gears to work with.
It's broken in, I can give it the beans.
I mean, here we're doing 60 miles per hour, and yeah, you can just hear the Bronco is loud. It's I think if you're not going to do a lot of highway driving, you'd be fine. But I think there are people who would be disappointed to know that it's not quieter with this hardtop.
Yeah, that was something I was really looking forward to, was driving on the highway with a hardtop. And I did that back at a Ford event a few months ago, and I was not entirely satisfied with how quiet it was. It's almost a different type of loud, because with the soft top you hear all the fabric flapping around, and with the hard top you hear not only more wind noise but also rattles. I cannot believe how well put together the interior is in this Maverick. The way that everything is so tight and like crisp.
As a previous Tesla owner, I have very low standards for how the interior should be put together, so that thing feels positively premium to me.
All you need in here is a leather steering wheel, and it would be excellent.
I'll
give you the honks and
Okay.
turn the stick shift.
Yep. I'm ready. Oh my God, you are leaving me.
This thing scoots off the line. You can get a proper brake torque going with this and just absolutely launch it.
Wow, we're gonna have to turn around. We'll do one going back as well. I left a little bit after you, but I still don't think it would have made the difference.
Did you spin the wheels?
No, I'm in 4 high.
Why don't you try it in 2-wheel drive?
No, that'll just spin for days. There is something so satisfying with both of these vehicles of being able to just like plow over potholes and broken asphalt and just not be worried.
Yeah, even though this is pretty small, I'm not scared, and it doesn't feel fragile. I feel like I'm still able to thrash it through whatever, and it'll just take it. I mean, even past the interior feeling solid, the overall truck itself just feels rock solid. I mean, it's really, really impressive.
Open the window a little bit so I can hear the honks over the phone.
There's a truck coming behind us.
All right, let's
Ready?
Yeah, it's not happening.
I didn't even brake torque it that time. I just took off.
Yeah, and I got a better start too. I could have feathered the clutch a little better, but still, that's yeah, at 250 horse, pulls strong. And that thing's probably just so much lighter than this Bronco too.
There's another corner coming up. You'll want to brace yourself.
This truck needs like a corner warning system.
You know what it needs? It needs curve mode, like the Maybach.
Curve mode, yeah.
Good old Mercedes-Benz feature. I do get to rev match though.
There you go. Good stuff. That was terrifying to watch.
It certainly warns you about its limits though. Another thing I like about the Maverick is how straightforward all the instrumentation controls are up in front. This Bronco is pretty darn good as well. Ford does do a good job of that overall, but something about how up front and right in front of you all the controls are in the Bronco or in the Maverick, it's just like, oh yeah, like HVAC is very clearly right here, no guessing. And they both have volume knobs, so clap, clap, clap for Ford.
Big claps.
The rev hang on this truck is just perfect for the type of driving that you expect for it, because it's got less rev hang than the Civic Si and a lot of those little sportier cars, and it's just long enough to push the clutch in, pull down to the next gear, and then let the clutch out, and the revs are at the perfect spot after that.
Yep, I agree with that. What would you think about a Maverick with a manual transmission?
I think it'd be neat, but I think it would sort of defeat the purpose more, because as we've said kind of at the beginning of this video, the Maverick exists in that it is all the things you need and nothing that you want. I mean, obviously, yeah, you can step up to a Lariat and you get leather and heated steering wheel and things like that, but the truck itself doesn't really offer much that isn't straightforward and functional. And let's be honest, manual transmissions are just cool things at this point. They're not better for like utility or anything like that.
That's true. Yep. No, I agree with you fully. The only time I could see a manual transmission being cool in this is if it was like a gimmick, like if there was a Maverick ST or even in the Tremor.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. The Bronco rides pretty well. Everything's a little firm. It definitely feels like an off-roader, but it takes excuse me. It's like any body-on-frame vehicle that it just makes all bumps feel medium.
Yeah. Yeah, this just soaks it all up really nicely.
Yeah, if I have any criticism with the powertrain, it's just that this needs a little bit more low-end torque. Because you find yourself flooring it and just being like, come on. And then it starts pulling and you're good. And only because it does exist to be a fun vehicle. Like I find myself watt a lot, which honestly is not a terrible thing. I don't actually mind that too much.
What, not wanting one?
I don't mind being wide open throttle in my daily driving situations. I just think there are a lot of people who would be a little bit perturbed by that.
Ah. Oh, Lord. I love the tire sound that all terrains make, like the.
Yeah, I think you're right about there being sound pumped in here because I don't think this motor would sound that good naturally.
No, there's no way. It's sound pumped in to make it sound more like a truck, because it's like a lower pitched sound that sounds more V6 or V8ish.
Good point, Chris. Correct. Give me a little space so I can spin the tires.
Okay, you don't want to spray your own car again?
No. Shooting the winding road video on this will be fun. Which I think you're doing, aren't you?
Do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing it. I think I'm doing both of them. I'm actually going to do it like right now while I'm
Yeah. Downshift, rev match. Oh, understeer directly into the side.
Off the trail.
Did you crash?
No, I did not.
Oh, yeah. That's fun.
Woo! Yeah, this car is definitely more fun to own in the winter than it would be in the summer.
Yeah.
I can see why Chris had a lot of fun with it this weekend. Or this week.
Nice. This won't let you do anything, will it?
No, it'll just spin out the slightest bit.
A little bit.
Yeah. Woo! Yeah, definitely a car that if you're not taking it off-road, you're doing it an injustice.
Yeah.
Sweet. That's a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun.
Ford's building some good things these days.
Yep.
Cool. Well, thank you all so much for watching. Hopefully you all found something informative or interesting with these. I mean, I'm just happy that Ford is doing stuff like this. I mean, Chevy had such an opportunity with the Blazer, and they just tossed it away.
Yep.
The Colorado sucks at this point. It's old, it's boring. But Ford's coming out with cool stuff. And yeah, I'm sad that we don't get things like the GT350 or the Focus or Fiesta ST anymore. But at least we get cool, fun things like this. A very honest, straightforward, really entry-level car replacement in the Maverick, and a fun, kind of like sporty second car type vehicle in the Bronco.
Sporty in a different way.
Yeah, very much so. So thank you all so much for watching. If you want to see more on either of these vehicles, we've got a whole bunch of links. And we'll see you on the next one. We're Chris and Charlie with Daily Motor, and as always, Drive on.